Hey, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today I'm going to be talking over an Ezreal gameplay with you guys here. Just a really big Ezreal carry, and I just kind of wanted to talk about just Ezreal in general as a champion, talk about ADC and farming, and kind of how to play a late game hyper carry ADC such as Ezreal, or really any ADC that is really good in the late game. So I've not played Ezreal in a while. I used to play him a lot back when I mained ADC, but definitely a bit washed at him, so you're going to see a lot of missed skill shots in this game. Definitely could work on those, but overall, when you're playing one of these champions who scale really well in the late game into an early game bot lane like Pyke Samira, you definitely don't want to go too over aggressive. If my teammate or my support ends up going too aggressive, I just want to make sure I'm focusing on farming up, not focusing on really winning the lane too hard, just trying to survive it. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to take free auto attacks when I have them. Obviously if my Janna lands a tornado like she did there, I'm going to go for the auto attack and go for the poke, but overall just playing this lane pretty passively. And then when my jungler is on my side of the map is when I can look for those aggressive trades and the aggressive poking. So my jungler is here, so in this situation I'm fine with going more aggressive. Like you're going to see here, we have the level advantage and my jungler's nearby. So for that reason, I am ending up going forward there. Just because you're playing a late game champ doesn't mean you can't take advantage of these windows. You just have to be more aware, of when these windows aren't available and just playing more passively when they don't show up. But again, we're playing aggressively because our Pantheon's even coming to our lane now looking for a lane gank. So although I am playing a late game champ and I typically don't want to play aggro early game, I am going to in these types of situations and try to bait them in and do whatever I can. I have my third ability, so I'm pretty safe, so I'm going to end up exhausting the Samira and trying to go onto her, and then we're going to end up getting the Pyke there. Still a good, kind of a situation of kind of straying away from what you should normally do. You don't always have to play your champion towards just his strengths or weaknesses. Sometimes unique scenarios will show up, such as that one, and in those situations you're still going to want to play aggressive. But yeah, Ezreal as a champion is really pretty straightforward. You just kind of poke a lot in lane, you farm up. You don't need to do too much. You can see here I'm just going for a plate because I know no one could really pressure me. But Ezreal is like a very difficult champion. He's one of the hardest ADCs in the game, just because of all the skill shots he has. But the positioning on Ezreal is quite easy because you have long range with your Q, with your W, and you have the essentially a flash on your third ability. So if you struggle with positioning but have really good aim, Ezreal is a great champion for you to really win a lot of games on. So playing him in general is really just about landing those shots and landing as much as you can. For the typical build, you're going to go Man Immune, and then after that, Trinity Force or Iceborne Gauntlet are kind of the two options. Iceborne Gauntlet's going to be good for that extra armor that you want to. You want to go that into like a very AD heavy enemy team comp, or like a lot of AD assassins, like into a Zed. It's very, very effective. But Trinity is going to give you more raw damage, so if you're looking for just raw damage onto people in general, then Trinity is probably going to be better. I like Trinity in most games, but Iceborne definitely has more utility and is a very good item as well. After that, Blade of the Rune King, Thrilda's Grudge / Mortal Reminder, and Riftmaker are usually the three other items you're going to go for. The order kind of depends on the game. Like I like going Riftmaker third item when I don't have other AP on my team. But if I already have AP, maybe I'll go for like a Blade of the Rune King third item instead. And for the boots, mana boots are going to be the best every time on Ezreal. He has AP scalings on, I forget all which abilities, but he definitely has a lot of AP scalings. And obviously the mana is super helpful for him. So that's overall what I'm typically going for my Ezreal build. And just really farming up for the late game. Once we get to like that 2 items is really when I feel very comfortable with kind of carrying the game on Ezreal in most situations. Once you get that Man Immune plus Trinity and you have the Man Immune stacked up, you can feel kind of unstoppable. So in this situation, our early game is going okay. I'm getting a lot of poke onto the Samira. You're going to see that pretty clean there, getting the E and then ulting up onto them, and the Janna is going to finish them off with the Ignite. And so again, we can be pretty aggro. So the nice thing about Ezreal is that you have basically a flash on your third ability. So being aggressive and going for these plates like this is not too risky because I have so many ways. I have my actual flash up, I have the third ability, so I'm pretty confident in general just kind of being aggressive in these types of scenarios where we have the lead and pushing them well. But I'm obviously not going to go too aggro if I know enemy jungle's near, or if the lane doesn't go as well, as this one ended up going. So at this point now, you're going to see I'm going to go try to buy my mana boots. I don't have enough to finish them, but I can get some components of them. And now really I should just be queuing when I'm going back to lane, because I want to stack up the Man Immune as quickly as possible. So it's kind of a mistake to not queue like that there, but it is what it is. And then I could have thrown an ult on the Lee Sin, but he already looked like he was going to die, so no need. And another thing you guys might not know about Ezreal is his ult comes back quicker if you Q stuff. So every time that I Q, it lowers the cooldown of my ult by like a second. So every time that you use your ult, it's important to just start stacking the Qs there. And then you're going to see Samira's going to go in on me. I'm just going to E out, and then I'm going to Q flash onto her and end up killing her there. So pretty nice little kill there, getting us a bit more gold, really helping us kind of get online for later parts of the game. But at this point, yeah, we're just going to go help with the dragon, and then we're going to go right back to farming. As an ADC, I think a lot of people sometimes wonder if they should go with their team to Herald, and I would say 95% of the time, I wouldn't recommend as ADC going to Herald. Now, the rare cases where I would recommend going to Herald as ADC is when enemy ADC you know is going there because they backed or because you see them walking there. And you're going to see this very close play onto the Lee Sin here that ends up barely working out. But in general, like if you already see the enemy ADC rotating to Herald and you know it's going to be all your team is there, all the enemy team is there, and you think you can win the fight, then I would say you could go for Herald. Apart from that, in solo queue, I wouldn't recommend going for Herald as most other cases. I would just recommend taking the opportunity to farm if the enemy ADC or enemy support or someone gets distracted and goes there instead. Because it's just better to play more selfishly and get that gold under yourself so you can carry the later parts of the game. Usually as ADC, that's what I do. That's usually what works out for me. Especially when I'm playing a hyper carry. If I'm playing a champ like Jhin or Ashe or something that's more supportive, I might be more okay with the rotating. But I don't want to give up that farm, like free farm to the enemy ADC because they're going to be a big problem later on in the game. So that's why usually we don't do that. You're going to see I'm going to throw an ult onto them and hope we can hit something. I think I do hit the Corki there. And then he ends up dying, so we do get the assist there, which was a nice little ult there. Make sure you're always paying attention whenever you're playing a global champion with your ult. And then you're going to see I'm going to miss like 3 abilities on the Samira and die because I missed literally everything. She did flash one of the abilities at the end, but yeah, I missed way too much there, and I kind of griefed that a bit. That was pretty stupid, but not the end of the world. We're still scaling up. We're still very strong, so just going to continue to focus on farming, and that's about all we need to do. But yeah, guys, I don't know. Let me know what you think about the more champion-specific videos. Like if you want me to have videos kind of focusing on more specific champs, or if you prefer the videos that are focused on different gameplay aspects. Like my recent videos have been talking about like 1v9ing in jungle or carrying in support or those types of things. Whereas this video, it's still about ADC. I'm still going to talk about ADC, but you know, the title is more about like the actual champion. Let me know if you want like the champion that I'm playing in the title. If you prefer that, or so that you guys actually know like which champ the video is kind of going to be about. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but yeah, just kind of curious what you guys think. I've been getting a little bored of Wild Rift. I don't know, not having the most fun playing the game right now, so I'm trying to think of, you know, new ideas or ways to make the game more fun or to make like better YouTube videos, but I don't know. Here in this fight though, we are just sitting back and queuing people. It's really pretty straightforward in the team fights as Ezreal. You just use all your abilities on people and you E back when you're in danger. You E forward if you feel like you can be aggressive or if you have your flash. I would say usually you don't want to use your E super aggressively a lot of the time unless you have your flash or you know you're very safe. And then you don't want to choose your moments very wisely. So here again, we're just going to go for some poke onto the Samira there. He ends up getting hit by the tornado there, but we're not able to follow up. And again, I'm just throwing my ult. Using your ult pretty leniently is something you should definitely do on Ezreal again, because you can Q and get that ult up very fast. So using it for wave clear, since Ezreal has poor wave clear and stuff like that, is very important. And then just, you can see here, I'm 100 gold from Trinity Force, so I'm going to go up and greed the wave to try to get these extra 2 minions so that I can get Trinity Force. And at this point, this is when my champion really comes online. So 2 items. Ezreal is a complete monster. I also have my boots as well. So I mean, I am just like extremely strong at this point in the game. Definitely feel like I can carry fights now. Even if I miss a Q or 2, overall my damage should be incredibly high. My team wants to surrender for some reason, even though we're winning. I don't know. People are weird. People are very weird. But yeah, so dragon's coming up at this point. Important as ADC to try to get lane priority before the dragon spawns, or just to protect your turret. So I'm going here to clear the wave to make sure that it's not pushing under my tower. And then I'm going to want to go to mid after if I can, to kind of group up with my team. Usually before second dragon is when I'm going to want to be around mid lane if I can, because at that point I can get the mid priority before the dragon spawns, and then I can rotate towards mid and be with my team. So you can see here, after getting that bot wave, I end up going towards mid to go and try to clear the wave and help my team out in the mid wave. And so again, we're just sitting here looking for poke. Again, as Ezreal, mid priority allows you to poke people very well. So when you can, you want to be pushing through mid first, and then using that mid priority to end up going for poke. Look at his ult damage, by the way, guys. I don't know how that killed him. That was half of his HP with just W ult. That was insane. But yeah, going through mid first allows you to get that priority and then getting control over the objective so you can poke them as they come in. Typically, you want to try to come, you want to be like on the first, you want to have first track on the dragon. You want to be around the dragon because that will allow you to get easier poke on people. And you can see here, we're just kind of popping off in this fight. I do mess up my flash, but we still get the kill. And then we're going to look and see if we can possibly get more kills onto this Kale here, who's 1 HP, and we're going to end up getting the Q on them. But I do waste my ult, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We get the triple kill there in that fight. And at this point, I mean, being fed Ezreal, as long as I don't E forward stupidly in a fight, my damage should just be so high that should be nearly unlosable. Lee Sin's going to come in here. I'm going to miss every ability on him because why not miss everything? But get the kill anyways because why not? So, I mean, definitely my aim could use some work in this game. Definitely missed a lot of shots, but I haven't played Ezreal much recently. I do have Mastery 7 on him. I've played like 300 or 400 games of him. But recently, I've not been playing him really at all. And then we're going to go for the Riftmaker third here. Oh, wait. This Pyke decides to go onto me for some reason. It looks like Samira is going to come too. We get the ult off onto both of them. And we hit actually everything here and get the easy kill there. Surely this Pyke would not try to go kill me now, would he? Okay, it looks like he is going to. Okay, and that Pyke is horrible and deserves to be permabanned. What the heck was that? Okay, thank you, Pyke, for the free kill. So, as I was saying, we're going to go for the Riftmaker here because we don't have too much other AP on our team. We do have the Teemo, but I was also kind of trying out Riftmaker because normally when I was playing a lot of Ezreal, Riftmaker actually wasn't in the game. Like, it was like a year ago that I used to play a lot of Ezreal. And I don't think Riftmaker was in the game at that point. I might be wrong, but I don't think it was in the game. So I would usually go for Blade of the Rune King. But yeah, so trying out the Riftmaker here, which I've not played much of. But it felt really nice in this game, though I was already really ahead, so it might have just felt nice because I was so strong anyways. But now we're just going back to farming and waiting for an objective. You can see here, even though I'm really fed, I think I should be in mid lane here and have someone go bot. It would be ideal, because as an ADC, when you get really fed, it's much better to go to mid. But you can see I push out the bot wave, then I'm going to go to mid here and help out my team. But if you're in mid, you can obviously influence more parts of the map, so it's going to be more beneficial for that reason. But we still do end up getting the kill on the Samira there. But yeah, when you're fed on ADC, you might feel like you still can't do much to actually like carry the game because your teammates might still be inting or other things like that happen. And really the best thing I can say is just kind of focusing on your own farm and focusing on carrying the dragon fights, or obviously if there's a Baron fight or anything, but just focusing on the objective fights. That's when you're really going to want to be with your team, and you're just going to want to be focusing on getting yourself gold apart from those situations. Now, you can't be too disjointed from your team, because if you are too disjointed and they die, they'll get Baron. The enemy will get Baron. So when the Baron is spawning, that's when you really want to be around mid as well, so that, you know, you're more likely to not be losing the Baron or anything like that. But in general, really focusing on farming for yourself before the team fights is what's most beneficial for you as an ADC. And you can see I'm just going around mid, continuing to poke people out, looking for damage when I can, looking for fights, because there's not really many people who can kill me as well in this. Holy crap, that damage. There's not many people who can kill me on the enemy team very effectively, so I can be pretty aggressive and kind of E forward like this and play a bit aggressive when I have my flash up. So as ADC, like, I think the most important thing is keeping track of who can really kill you, and just keeping in mind, like, okay, this person goes on me, I might be in danger. For example, this game, Lee Sin going for a kick onto me and kicking me into his enemy team, or Pyke hooking me, are really the only dangers, barring me like making a really stupid play. So I'm really keeping track of usually just any enemy CC that they have, or enemy dashes, or assassins that can ult onto me or stuff like that. And if those factors aren't present, I know I can be really aggressive. And so here you're going to see I get a nice snipe onto the Lee Sin, and then we also end up getting Samira for a nice little double kill there. And at this point, we just want to pressure Baron since their jungler's dead. Make sure as well as ADC, I do see a lot of ADCs not doing this. Make sure you're always going for the objectives and dealing the damage to the objectives. Like, you are the main damage dealer on the Baron, on the whatever. So make sure you're definitely trying to obviously just hit it rather than going for dumb fights or something when your team goes for objectives. You got to be very aware of that. And then we're going to get a nice little kill there. And I think I do kill the Kale as well. He does stasis, but yeah, we end up getting them. I mistimed my Q there. Unfortunate. But at this point, this game does look pretty over. I think we just end soon through mid. I'd assume we just push through this Baron and then we win the game. I'm gonna go for that Blade of the Rune King, 3rd item there, or 4th item. But yeah, main things about Ezreal really is just playing pretty safe, poking people down in the early game, and following up on your support if they make any kind of aggressive plays, playing more aggressive when your jungler is, you know, close by, like my Pantheon was there. And then just once you get around 2 items, that's when you really can pop off. Keep track of the main damage dealers, or the main people who can jump on you, you know, if there's any assassins, any tanks with CC or anything like that. And apart from that, you should be pretty good on Ezreal as long as you're able to hit your shots. You know, practice makes perfect with Ezreal. So in general, the more that, you know, you focus on getting your aim down, which there's not a ton of like big tricks for aim. I would say really it just does come down to experience. Try to get used to not auto aiming too much. I think auto aim is useful when you're like really close to people, but apart from that, try to get used to just being able to aim yourself. And one small thing in lane especially is try to get people to go hug walls, because if they hug a wall, then they can only juke one way. Where if they're not against a wall, they can go left or right. So if you know they're against a wall, or if you can try to move them against the wall, it makes it really easy to end up landing a lot of skill shots onto them. So that's a small tip for landing skill shots. But here you're going to see we're going to end the game here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Honestly, again, like I said, I know this was kind of a lazy video. I don't really know. I've not been having the most fun with the game recently, so just kind of been playing a little bit of autofill on my main account, and just going to be bringing you guys some videos like this. If you guys have any video ideas you have or anything you want to see in the future, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video, and yep, see you guys later. Oh, and let's also show you guys actually the stats here. 42% damage, 37,000 damage. That was pretty cool, so sorry about that weird pause, but yeah. Last thing, okay, I'll see you guys later now.